wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast. This is Steve coming to you from Conway, Arkansas, and this week we are going to look at number 30, chapter 30 of the Enchiridion by Arrian, I guess technically, but the teachings of Epictetus. Before we do that, Daniel, Jeannie, and Jared, thank you so much for joining as patrons on patreon.com/SundayStoic and helping to make this show possible. We've been making our way through this book. We're already more than halfway done, which is pretty interesting. And this week we're going to hear from Epictetus, and this is one of those readings where, at least superficially, I disagree with what he's saying, but I can agree with some of the spirit behind it. How does that sound? So some of it I agree with, some of it I think I disagree with at some level, as it doesn't translate to the modern world as well as perhaps as it did to the expectations of a more traditional or ancient society. So he's going to talk to us about how we determine what we should expect from relationships with others, and especially our fathers, brothers, etc. What should we expect from this relationship? And we have to realize that we need to look at our role within that relationship to determine what our appropriate actions are. What is our role here? Because we can't control the other person in the relationship. We can control how we engage in this relationship, but not the other side of that coin. So that's what he's talking about, and I don't know. We'll talk about what's good about this and what might need some updating after we hear from Epictetus. Chapter 30.
Appropriate acts are in general measured by the relations they are concerned with. He is your father. This means you are called on to take care of him, give away to him in all things, bear with him if he reviles or strikes you. But he is a bad father. Well, have you any natural claim to a good father? No, only to a father. My brother wrongs me. Be careful then to maintain the relation you hold to him, and do not consider what he does, but what you must do if your purpose is to keep in accord with nature. For no one shall harm you without your consent. You will only be harmed when you think you are harmed. You will only discover what is proper to expect from neighbor, citizen, or praetor if you get into the habit of looking at the relations implied by each.
So Epictetus is focusing on relationships here and how we need to think about our roles in relationships, what we should expect, and according to him, what it means to live according to nature. So according to Epictetus, according to nature, we only get one father, right? So he says we get one. And it is assumed that our duty is to stick with our father. And in this case, even if he reviles you, strikes you, so on and so forth, because you are not guaranteed a good father, but it is by nature that you get a father, assuming they're still around, right? And so you should take care of that father, respect that father, do what that father says. I think there's where we might change our attitude slightly. I would say it is your nature to take care of someone with whom you are in a good reciprocal relationship with, but if that person has broken a bond or has treated you terribly, you are at that point under no obligation to continue said relationship. It is unnatural to stay in a cage with a lion, right? It is only natural to say bye. I don't think submitting to abuse is something that should be. It's not just. It's not something we should do. Now we might try to get someone help if they're, our dads are treating us like crap and we know they're addicted to something or whatever. Maybe we will pursue some avenue there, but it's up to us to decide what the appropriate action is in that case, using our best judgment. Because one thing that's important here is not Epictetus saying, here's exactly what you must do in every situation. It's up to us in every situation to determine what an appropriate act is based on our specific set of circumstances. Stoicism is not a religion where thou shalt this or that. It is make the best decision you can with the information you have that makes the most sense, that aligns with our values as much as possible. And so we're trying to live, as he says, according to nature. We're trying to make logical decisions here. And the next one that he brings up is our brothers, a sibling. This sibling wrongs you. Okay, fine. But that's not your business. You have not been harmed, according to Epictetus, unless you assent to having been harmed. Unless you say, what you said hurt me. If you interpret it differently, then it does not hurt you. It's just stuff you said, but it does not affect me. So he says, according to nature, we should work together with our siblings, right? So once again, that is ideal, but you may find circumstances where that is not the best situation. So, I personally try to be a good son, and I work. I want to have a good relationship with my brother and do not have some awful circumstance that I have to think, decide if I need to unplug from that relationship. But I know a lot of people who, probably should not stick with an abusive spouse or friend, or they have in the past left those situations for the better. So it's something you'll have to decide on based on your logic, your prudence, your wisdom. And then he says, in all social situations, we need to decide how we should act. Or not how we should act, but what we should expect based on the situation. So we need to look at who it is we're about to talk to, what should we expect from them, and then also how much of what we expect is actually in our power, but what can we do on our side of that relationship? The only thing we truly have power on is our side of a relationship, and to be the best, whatever that role is in that situation, to be the best son or daughter that we can be, to be the best brother or sister that we can be, just as long as it's not at our peril. Then again, there are situations, it's hard to judge. There are situations when you might tough out a difficult relationship and see it through. But it's up to your judgment on the situation, who the person is, their history, so many things that don't just fall into a simple do this, don't do that kind of mentality. We have to be thinking beings, and we have to make robust decisions based on a lot of data. But oddly enough, this episode airs for the first time here in June of 2021 during Father's Day weekend. And happy Father's Day, Dad. I'm sure you won't hear this. And also to my son, who made me a dad. It's awesome to get to see you grow up. Maybe one day you'll hear me say this. I love you very much, Charles. And can't believe you're 5 years old already. Anyway, everyone, if you do have a dad and they're someone you have that relationship with, reach out to them. If it's a dad and you have an unnatural, stupid, antagonistic relationship with, and you shouldn't, that it's being drawn out for no good reason, reach out to them. Be the best son or daughter you can be. Reach out to them. And for those of you who don't have a dad or don't have a dad worth reaching out to, here's to good role models. Let's hope we can find them. All right, everyone, have a good week. Thank you for supporting the show. And until I see you again, remember to seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team. Earn rewards by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. And as Steve always says, carpe diem.